honestly, to get out on the street and to do the wrong things. And I know because over the past 20 years, I've spoken to thousands of young people, trying to redirect their lives, but it is damaging to them, no doubt.
And when are you coming over here to speak to us?
I'll be there next week, and our first big show is at the Grosvenor in London on July 2nd. Very excited about that. It's a red carpet event, and I think we're going to have a good time. And then we have about 20 shows to follow all throughout the United Kingdom. And, I'm going to talk about things that I think I'll feel more comfortable talking about in the United Kingdom than I would here in the U.S. So it's going to be a good time. We're going to do a Q&A, and it's going to be very informative and entertaining, I'm sure.
Michael Francesi, thank you very much for talking to us. Much appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
Fascinating stuff. For a quiet, sticky Thursday, it's been a busy hour. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll be back on Monday from 6. Coming up at 10, it's Ben Kentish. But right now, it's Rachel Johnson.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, that didn't take long. We're in the middle of rail strikes, and the so-called summer of discontent has already been upgraded to a summer of disruption and then supercharged to a summer of hell after British Airways staff at Heathrow, the flag carrier's hub airport, have added to ongoing and future travel misery and voted to strike. Heathrow's already a carpet of lost and unclaimed luggage. Are you a BA or travel worker who's planning to strike? Have you got a holiday coming up? Are we set fair for a summer of hell? 03456 060 Plus we bring you the latest from Afghanistan, the unwelcome return of polio, and the changes to the poetry syllabus. That's all with me after the news next.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 7 o'clock, British Airways staff at Heathrow Airport, the latest to vote in favour of going on strike this summer. Members of the GMB and Unite unions want a pay cut introduced during the pandemic to be reversed. GMB National Officer Nadine Houghton has told LBC staff aren't asking a lot.
There was a 10% pay cut that came into effect in April of last year as a result of the deal that we had forced upon us. And we just want that 10% to be paid back with back pay. That's all. We just want pay to be reinstated to pre-pandemic levels.
BA says it's disappointed but committed to finding a solution. Elsewhere, the RMT union says it will discuss further rail strikes next week on the second day of walkouts. General Secretary Mick Lynch says it's extremely likely there will be more industrial action. The Metropolitan Police says it will offer every support to a new investigation into its handling of murders carried out by Stephen Port. 4 men were killed by the serial killer in Barking in East London between June 2014 and September 2015. An inquest found failings by officers probably contributed to the deaths of his last 3 victims. Danny Shaw is a police commentator. He's told LBC why the police watchdog has decided it needs to re-investigate.
What they are saying is that there is significant new information and that the initial inquiry was materially flawed such that it had an impact on other decisions. So they're not spelling out what they got wrong exactly, but clearly the first inquiry wasn't up to scratch in light of information that's emerged following the inquest which concluded at the end of last year.
President Biden says he's deeply disappointed by a Supreme Court ruling which expands gun rights in the US. The decision will allow more Americans to carry a weapon in public by overruling a law in New York. It had required people to prove why they need a license. Mark Fisher is senior editor at The Washington Post.
The Supreme Court today expanded the idea of the Second Amendment as something that guarantees not only people's right to defend themselves with guns in their homes, but out in public, in streets, pretty much anywhere except for a handful of restricted spaces such as churches and schools.
Downing Street says it's unlikely Boris Johnson will bring up his Rwandan asylum policy when he meets Prince Charles in Kigali tomorrow. The heir to the throne has reportedly privately described the plans as appalling. Earlier, the Prime Minister said he would stress the obvious merits of the policy to deport asylum seekers there. But the Sunday Times royal correspondent Roya Nika has told Tonight with Andrew Marr it now seems the matter won't be discussed.
Clarence House has said officially the Prince of Wales is not going to talk